In this video, we're going to build an AI voice agent for restaurants that can handle rescheduling, canceling, and booking appointments, as well as being able to answer common questions that a restaurant might get. And we're going to do this all completely from scratch. This video is going to show every step I took in that process so that absolutely nothing is being gatekept. I'll be only using no-code tools so that really anyone, even people without coding experience, can learn how to build one of these types of systems. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Hugo. I've been running Artillo AI for over a year now, and in that time, we've helped many businesses implement this technology across various different industries, from real estate to healthcare to even logistics. So let me walk you through the process of building your first AI voice agent. So there's going to be a few system requirements I have for this build. So that way I know whether I've not done enough yet for this agent or whether I have done enough, and we can kind of end that video there. And so there's a clear goal when we're building this agent. So what I want it to be able to do is to book reservations, and it should only book them in the available times, like as in only when there is an available time. Now, something I want to show you is the way that I'm going to be doing all of this is also using an Airtable database. A lot of the videos on the internet, especially with the restaurant booking stuff, just use Google Calendar, and what they do is like when there is, so let's say, look at my Google Calendar, I have a meeting, but let's say, oh, can I book a table at 11 a.m? Currently it would be available, but as soon as one person books a table at 11 a.m. for, let's say, an hour and a half, that 11 a.m. time slot is now not available. But most restaurants have multiple tables, right? So it is just way too oversimplistic and makes the tools and makes the whole agent a little bit too easy to make. So I made it a little bit more difficult for myself, and I've added multiple tables. So as you can see here, we have 12 different tables. They all have different party sizes. So this one is for 4, 2, 6, 2, 2, 4, 6, etc. And we have a reservations table. So this is all the reservations that have ever been or are going to be occur. You got to add your phone number, the date of the reservation, and then as you can see, it links to the table number. So this one has table number 4, table number 11, table number 12, and we can basically, using this database, query and actually create this all a bit more professionally. Obviously, I could use tools like OpenTable, like Talk, like 7 Rooms, I believe is one of the names, but I don't have access to them as I don't own a restaurant. So I have to demo it with this Airtable database instead. So yeah, let me carry on with the system requirements. So yeah, book reservations and only in available times. We'll know this via the reservations. So we're making it a little bit more hard for ourselves. Cancel reservations. So we want to be able to delete or cancel reservations, reschedule reservations, answer questions a restaurant might get, which is all going to be just in a knowledge base. So this will be very simple. And I want the agent to sound pretty conversational. I don't want it to sound extremely robotic. You know, most people who come to me, they don't want an AI. They want as human of an AI as possible, right? So we're going to have as conversational speech as I can get in a quick amount of time. Obviously, this is a bit subjective, so I might stop a little bit before it's extremely conversational, because obviously, you know, you could really do a lot to make things more conversational. But yeah, we need these 5 things before this kind of building agent from scratch is completed. So the first thing I'm going to do is work on the tools, because I know, like, as soon as you have your system requirements, you know instantly what tools you're going to need to build, and then once you have your tools, then you can start implementing them into a prompt, which is what we're going to do after building and planning out the tools. So first, what I want to think about is what tools I could possibly need. So one of them would be check availability, right? We want to check whether there is availability for the time, date, party, etc. Of the reservation, and see, like, is this being able to be booked? Then we would have book reservation, right? So once we know there is availability or there isn't availability, so like if there isn't, we ask them again, check availability again, and then book reservation, then we would book the reservation. However, I'm going to make this a little bit easier for myself and for the agent, and chuck that check availability functionality within the book reservation function itself. So basically, the book reservation function will be called, it will kind of act like there is availability, and will only act like there isn't availability when there isn't availability. So that way we don't have to check availability, and we just book the reservation unless there is an availability. Then we'll tell them, oh, look, sorry, there wasn't any availability for today. Do you want to book a different time? And, you know, and
maybe different party size. So we're going to have all that into one tool. The next one, again, very simple. The next tool we'll need is cancel reservation. Obviously, we need to be able to cancel reservation. We need to be able to cancel the reservation. And the third and final one, and what you will notice is I don't have reschedule reservation, is going to be the knowledge base. And the reason why I don't have reschedule reservation is because the way I'm going to create rescheduling the reservation is by kind of connecting these two together. So first we will cancel the reservation. So we'll be like, oh, what date did you have the reservation for? The one that you want to reschedule, and under what phone number? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. I've got the reservation. So we'll delete that reservation, and what time would you like to change it to? And we will then book the reservation. So that way we kind of create the rescheduling process via those two tools. So we can get to work on the tools instantly. I'm going to, like I said in the video, I'm only using no-code tools. So I'm going to do this all within make.com and the Airtable database. So let's start with book reservation. Oh, let's just type it in and copy it. I call this scenario book reservation, create a new webhook, add book reservation, save. Okay, so the first thing I know instantly what we're going to want to do is search records in the Airtable to find all the okay, so give me a second to connect my Airtable account. I actually created this make.com organization specifically for YouTube, so, and it's new, specifically new for this video, so give me 2 seconds. Okay, so I created my connection. I'm inputting the restaurant table, or the restaurant base, sorry, and then we're going to do the tables table first. So the logic I'm thinking is for book reservation, what we're going to do is first search the records for each table that we could possibly, go on. So if there's a party size of 5, let's say, actually, let me show you in the Airtable database. So if there's a party size of 5, the only tables we can possibly go on are table 8, because it's a capacity of 6, and table 4, because it's a capacity of 6. So what we want to do is basically look for all tables that are possible, and then based on those tables, what we're going to do is look for reservations that are on that table for the same date and time that the person asked for the reservation. So if someone says, can I have a reservation for tomorrow at 7 p.m, we're going to look for any reservations tomorrow at 7 p.m. on any of these or all of these tables that were inputted or gotten from that first search records. That way we'll know if the tables are unavailable, because if, let's say, there were 2 tables, 4 and 8, in that first search records, and we then check the reservations, and there are 2 reservations for table 4 and 8, so one reservation for 4, one reservation for 8 at 7 p.m. tomorrow, we know there are no tables available for that person. So we can then send a webhook response, be like, unfortunately, there are no tables available. So let's do that functionality within make.com. So first we're going to look for the tables, and here the work of this is going to be all done within the formula. So in the formula, what we're going to do is basically find tables based on the party size. So if the party size is 5, we're going to look for any tables that have the capacity of 5 or 6. So it's always going to be 5 or party size plus 1. Because if there's a table for 1, most restaurants don't occupy or have any tables available just for one person, but they have a table for 2. And so they would just seat that person, the person that wants to have a table for 1, on a table for 2. So that's why we're going to do that party size plus 1. So that way we're always looking for tables of the exact same capacity or 1 extra. So the formula is going to look something like this: all capacity equals party size slash capacity, or comma capacity equals party size plus 1. So this way we're looking in the tables table and looking for any tables with the party size all plus 1. So we press save. By the way, with these like Airtable formulas, just go on the Airtable website, copy this entire documentation and send it to an AI and tell the AI what function or what logic you want to create in the formula, and it will get it correct most of the time. The only thing you might have to do is like input the make.com variables, because obviously like this is its own syntax. So if you look, that's what the syntax of one.partySize looks like. But yeah, let's press save. And we can actually run this. So I'm going to copy this call request. I'm going to talk to an AI, say create a curl post request with this URL. Oh, so clearly it didn't copy the the URL. So let's grab that. And party underscore size, and we're gonna make it 6 equals 6, and we're just gonna do it like that. So let's get what we get from here. Perfect. Grab this, go into my terminal, and just paste this in my terminal. Oh, wait, what? So it says then no scenario. Maybe because it wasn't saved. Yes, okay, so it wasn't saved. So now it's good. It accepted it, and now we get two tables back, because obviously for a table of 6, we know we can only have that 4 and 8. We're also going to test it actually and just run this exact thing, but with now 5 instead, and see if it does it correctly as well. So yes, again, we get back table 4 and 8, which is perfect, because if you're a table, or if you're a party of 5, you can only be seated at a table of 6. So we can press save, and we can move on to the next one. So the next thing what we want to do is again search records, but this time what we're going to do is search the reservations based on those tables. Now, something again that I'm going to let you know is what we're also going to do is in reservations, when we're searching for reservations that clash. So let me actually duplicate one of these rows and have one that clashes. We're going to make the time, let's say tomorrow at 8:30. We're going to make the party size 5. We're going to make the table 4 because that is the table that we want. And we're going to have it as confirmed because obviously it hasn't been taken yet. And we're going to just change this number to like 2 at the end. Okay, so now there's a table that clashes because table number 4 was a table for 6. There we go, table for 6. So now we have one that clashes. And yes, so something that we want to do within the formula is also check for reservations an hour and a half before and an hour and a half after. So if someone wants a reservation for 7 p.m, we want to check, are there any bookings an hour and a half before? Because if someone books a table for 7, and let's say only table 8 is available, but there's someone sitting on table 8 and has a reservation on table 8 for 6:30 p.m, even though it isn't 7 p.m, so technically there is availability at 7 p.m, that person at 6:30 is going to be sitting at that place from 6:30 till 8 because they're going to be there for an hour and a half. That's kind of how we're going to do it, an hour and a half per table, which is common and the default in most restaurants. So we're going to look an hour and a half before and then an hour and a half after, because if someone has a reservation for 8 p.m and someone wants 7 p.m, you know, you can't squeeze that person into 7 p.m because it's only an hour before that next reservation, so we wouldn't be able to have them in our, or like we wouldn't be able to give them any availability. So for this one, we're going to go into reservations, we're going to go into grid view, and now it's a new formula that I need to quickly make. Okay, so I ran it just to check the formula. Here's the formula by the way. So and table number equals table number. So we're going to check each one of those table numbers, and the date is after, or the date is add minus 90 minutes to the date, so 90 minutes before, and also add 90 minutes, so 90 minutes after, to look for any of those things. So now if we look at the operations, you can see we have total number of bundles as 0. If I were to change this, okay, so now I tested it and I have a reservation here by Alice Cooper at 8 p.m. and I've sent 7 p.m. So that clashes, right? Because that's hasn't given us an hour and a half between those reservations. So the only time I would be able to book in would be at 6:30 instead. So right now there should be a clash for one of the tables. However, one of the tables is available. Perfect. So as you see, table number 4, which is the one that Alice Cooper has right here, is a clash. So we're not able to reserve on that one. But operation 2 brings us back nothing, meaning table 8 right here is available. So let's go into book reservation and let's use that logic to carry on. So now the next thing what we want to do is basically create a router which is going to send data up to the top or to the bottom. The top is going to be the part where we're going to book a reservation if there is a table available. So what I'm going to do is create a record, or sorry, no, first what I want to do is, because I don't want to book or create a reservation every time there is a table that is available. So right now, if I were to run this, it would book a table every time there is a table, book a reservation, sorry, for every table that is available. So we want this to only happen once. We only want this top row to happen once. So what we're going to do is add a increment function and then create a record, which would be creating the reservation. So yes, because we only want the record to be created once, we're going to increment the function. We're going to use the increment function, sorry. And I will deal with this stuff in a second. Let me just save that for now. And then in the filter, we're going to have a condition. So I must equal to numeric, because the I is the numbers, must equal to 1. So that means once it's happened once it's happened once, and the increment function runs once, it will run, and because I will equal 1, it will go and create a record. But then the next time we try to do that, because there's another table available, let's say there's 3 tables available, it's going to run up to the top again. But this time the increment function is going to be 2, and then it will be blocked by this filter. So it's just going to be stopped over here, which is fine. And then if it runs a third time, the increment function is going to be 3, so that does not equal to 1, so it's not going to go into create record. Now what we can do is we can make this name, we can make this dot date, we can make this dot party size, we can make the table number, just go into the Airtable search records, but the first one, and then go table number. Status will be confirmed. Phone number will be one.phone number, because all of this data is what we're going to get from retail. One.phone number, one.email, because again, this is what we're going to get from our agent, and that is it. So we can press save. We can add a webhook response that basically says the table for, let's just do party size. Oh, sorry. Table for one.party size has been successfully booked for, and then we'll do one.date. So now we know that that table, or the agent will know that that table has been successfully booked. So we can press save. Okay, now the next thing what we want to do is add the logic for if every table that we want to book for is unavailable. So for this logic, I'm going to kind of explain my thinking on retail. So essentially, if we have 2 routes, and the top route, we have an increment function, and the bottom route, we have an increment function. So on this second search records, if there are, let's say, 3 tables that were found in that first one, we're going to look for 3 reservations. If we get back 3 bundles, and therefore 3 reservations, that means we know that all of the potential tables from table 1 are unavailable, because we have 3 reservations. So we're going to go 3 times down this route. If however, we only have 2 bundles and 1 non-bundle, so 1 bundle that is free, that means we have 2 reservations, meaning that there are 2 tables, or 2 tables that are unavailable, but there is 1 table that is available. What we want to do is go up 1 time to there, and we'll go down 2 times to here. Now the function and the logic, what we want to do here is we want to add a webhook response here, which will basically be like all tables are booked. However, we don't want that to happen every time a record goes down this route, because not all tables are booked, because in this scenario where it was 2 and 1, we would go down this scenario twice, right? But that still means that there is 1 available. So what we want to do is add an increment function down here as well, which increments every time there's a record that goes down here. And what we want to do is, let's say, again, we have 3 tables and 3 reservations. If this happens 3 times, so if the increment function goes to 3, we only send a webhook response when that equals the amount of tables we got in that first search records. This way, we will only send a webhook response when we are certain every table is or has a reservation. So what we can do is go into this increment function again, add that, press save, add a webhook response. So this will just be like, there are no tables available for that date. There are no tables available for the date you wanted. Would you like a different one? Let's do, would any other date work for you? So we can do that and we can press save. So now what we want to do, is add a filter. Again, just like this increment filter, we want to add one, but this time this should only go down to the webhook response if it is equal to numeric operator equal to the amount of bundles in that first search records. So again, like if there are 2 tables available and we get back 2 reservations from this second one, that means every table is unavailable. So we can press save, or yeah, I'm hoping this filter, I don't know what's going on with my make.com. It feels really buggy right now. So yeah, that means all the tables are unavailable. So this is all done. Again, this hasn't saved, which is just weird. I don't know what's going on with my make.com right now. So yeah, total number of bundles 2. So we can press save. We can press run, and we can run this request. And now what we'll see is 1 table is available. So we got total number of bundles 0 and 1. Oh wait, sorry, I haven't added another thing. So this is the issue. So currently this is doing it correctly, but it's going down both operations. So I've made a mistake. Something I need to add is another filter. So we're only going to this top part if total number of bundles on this second search records equals to 0. So if there are no reservations for that table. And then this one, we go down if total number of bundles equals to greater than or equal to 1. So now if I were to press save, run, and run this again, we're going to see no webhook response down at the bottom. Okay, still messed up somehow. Total number of bundles 0. Total number of bundles equal to or greater than 1. So how are we going through this filter? I don't understand why there's 2 operations. There should not be 2 operations down here. Greater than or equal to 1. There should only be 1. Okay, so what have I... Oh, okay, so there's 2 reservations. Okay, that's the issue. So there's 2 reservations for table 4 that match, which makes sense because one is at 8 and the other is at 7. Okay, so this was a reservation I created myself. So that's the issue, is there's just a duplicate. So let's delete this. This was just a duplicate within the logic. So that breaks our logic really. So that's something that was kind of manually created, which fucks it. So yeah, now once I've deleted that, there's no issue. So it's only incremented once, and therefore 1 does not equal 2 because there's 2 tables available. So we don't have this webhook response. So everything looks good. So book reservation is done. Yeah, when there is a table available, we instantly book it. And if we look at create a record, you know, the table that was available. So if we look at the tables that were available, table 8 was available because there are no reservations for table 8 at that time, or an hour and a half before, or an hour and a half after. So we book and create a record into that table number 8. Amazing. Let's delete this because it doesn't have the name, it doesn't have anything. So let's delete this, and it's also just going to mess up the logic. Cool. So book reservation is done. The next thing we want to do is create cancel reservation. So let me create a new scenario. We're going to do the exact same thing. Webhook cancel/reservation, cancel_reservation, sorry. Grab that, create a new webhook. Sorry, not a webhook response. We want to do a normal webhook. Cancel reservation, save, copy address to clipboard because that'll be useful for creating the call request again. And for this, what we're going to do is first search the records. So for this, again, search table, search records. And now what we're going to do is search for a record that matches the phone number and the date. So I'm going to go into reservations, view, grid view, And in this formula, there's going to be two things we're searching for, and that is the date of the reservation. To delete it, we're going to be like, oh, what time was the reservation for and what date? They'll be like tomorrow at 8 p.m. We're going to look for a record that has tomorrow at 8 p.m. and their phone number. And we're going to ask for their phone number because some people, you know, like their wife might be calling. So it might not be the exact same phone number that is on the call with the agent. So we're going to ask for that. So for the formula, it's going to look something like this. So and phone number, so the phone number equals to the phone number we get from retail. And the date equals the date we get from retail, but it has to be formatted in this specific way. So I'm going to add these brackets around it. So the format date, as you can see, it's being formatted the way that Airtable likes. This might be different depending on the platform you're using, like OpenTable. They might be quite good at just dealing with dates and formatting it themselves, but Airtable needs the date to be formatted in a specific way, which is year, month, date, T, like it needs the letter T, kind of like this. In fact, exactly like this. So year, month, date, T, time, seconds, milliseconds, and then Z. So that's why we have the Z here. That's why we have the replace. That's why we have the format. So we can press save, and now we would get a reservation based on that. So what I'll do is just grab this phone number, and I will grab this date, and I will create a new request. Now do that as date, remove party size, and add phone number, phone underscore number. And we will send that. And we actually have to change the webhook URL. Yes, okay, so, and change webhook URL. As you can see, I make a lot of spelling mistakes. I'm just about quickness, and AI allows me to make spelling mistakes, and it's not an issue. So let's copy that, run it, save. Let me just save this because for some reason it's not saved. I think I need to add a grid. No, okay, the grid view is fine. Yeah, let's save. What do you mean? Okay. Oh, okay. So the issue is this. We're referencing one phone number, but actually the webhook is 2. So we can do that, and then we'll change that for the date as well. 2.date. So the reason why that is because I accidentally created that webhook response before the custom webhook, and that just meant this now says 2. Yeah, whatever. Now we can run what I copied. So let me just chuck that in there, run that, and we will get some records back. Perfect. So the record that we were looking for was this Alice Cooper one. And as you can see, we get back this record. And now what we're going to do is delete that record based on the record ID we get from searching it. So we add in that ID, press save, webhook response back. Reservation cancelled. Successfully cancelled. Done. Save. Cancel reservation, all done as well. Next is the knowledge base. So again, for the knowledge base, I'm going to create a new scenario, add a webhook as per usual. You already understand it at this point. The logic of creating tools. Create a webhook. Name it custom knowledge base. Press save. Now for the knowledge base, we're going to use a platform called Triev AI, and it's just an API for RAG, which is perfect and exactly what we need for this build. So just sign up. You'll have a free 1,000 chunks. I've already created a knowledge base for Manbao. Manbao is the restaurant I'm kind of building this for. It is just like the #1 most rated restaurant in London. So I just thought, why not do a restaurant near me that is highly rated? It has Malaysian food, and yeah, it seems like a nice place. So I'll show you some pictures, I guess. Yeah, it looks like a very nice restaurant for a Malaysian cuisine. And what I've done is just created a knowledge base for this restaurant. What I've done is just gone into Google Docs and created this Manbao restaurant knowledge base. As you can see, it has a bunch of answers. In fact, all of this is made up except for like a few things. Because obviously, as you can see, the website doesn't really have any information. And to get any information, you have to email them. So I've just created some information that is kind of like dummy data, which will be our knowledge base. This is correct, like the opening hours, because that is just based off their Google. But everything else is just kind of all created, all dummy data. So I downloaded this restaurant knowledge base. I just simply downloaded it as a doc, and you can just go like that. Then I went into Triev, logged in, and then as soon as you come into the as soon as you get logged in or signed up, you press create data set. Extremely simple. I just named it Manbao, as you can see, and I just press create new data set. That's what I've done so far. And then within Manbao, once you go into the data set, which will look something like this, you just press upload files, and then I dragged in my manbao.docs knowledge base, which I downloaded from this, and then I just pressed upload and chunk files. I didn't mess around with anything else because this is all a bit too advanced for this demo, and I just pressed upload and chunk files. And now if I look into the dashboard, you can see we have chunk count of 2. So that means there was 2 chunks within that knowledge base because it's a tiny knowledge base. So now what we can do is go into the Triev API docs to figure out how we're going to search it. So you can do search within the app itself, which is amazing. So let's say like I search up what is the cancellation policy, and it will bring back the results, which is going to be so simple for this because it's tiny, this knowledge base, but it's extremely good at obviously doing RAG. So Triev is good and it will bring back what you want. Now you can also test different things. So you can test the type of search that you're doing. You have hybrid, full text, semantic, autocomplete, BM25, BM25, autocomplete, semantic, autocomplete, full text. There's a lot you can do on Triev. It's worth reading up on what the different things do and basically choose the right search options based on what you want to do. I like just keeping it on hybrid, and I'm going to leave it on hybrid for this. I'm going to re-rank it by semantic, in fact, because I think that's going to be a little bit better. I mean, for this is so simple because we only have 2 chunks, but for actual projects, you have hundreds of chunks per document and hundreds of documents. So, getting the correct search type is really, really crucial. So let's go into the documents because we're going to do this search via API. And what we're going to do is add our dataset ID because that is needed. So we'll go into the dashboard, grab this dataset ID right here and paste that in there. Next, we don't need to select the API version. That doesn't actually matter. We go into the query, we make it text. We're going to make the query, what is the cancellation policy? Search type is needed, so I'm going to make this hybrid, like I told you, and that is it. I believe if I were to press send, it's going to give me a correct result back. Perfect. So what we need to do is grab the URL. So that's going to be api.triev.api and then chunk, etc. So we're going to do a new HTTP request, make a request, URL, chuck that in there, post, header. We're going to add author, right? Okay, I'm just not spelling, so I'm just going to grab it from the API reference authorization, and then I'm going to put in my API key. So I'm going to need to blur this. Chuck that in there, and then add a new header, which is going to be the TR data set. So as you can see, we also need a header for the TR data set. So let me grab that. Chuck that in there, grab the dataset ID. Actually, I can just paste that from my previous, from my clipboard. And then the next thing we need to do is grab this data and chuck that into the body type. So I'm going to make the body type raw, content type JSON. As you can see, it sets the content type request header by itself, so I don't need to do that, and then add that there. Now, instead of query, what is the cancellation policy? We're going to make this one.query because we're going to want to get this query from the AI. Press save. And we can now just quickly test this. I'm going to grab this webhook URL, go into AI. You can already imagine what I'm going to do. I'm going to just put change, remove all but query, and make it what is the cancellation policy. I've misspelled it, but whatever. I'm sure it will get that. Perfect. It understood as usual. AI is your best friend for speed. Accepted. Cool. So now we got a status code 200, so that means it has done it all correctly, and we got our result back. This is going to be the exact same result as we have in this thing. So I'm going to copy this because it's going to be needed, and I'm going to create a new module, and this is going to be a parse JSON module, because currently this JSON is all mumbled and we can't actually get anything from this data. As you can see, like this, unless I sent this entire JSON back to the AI, I can't grab the exact chunk value that we want. So I'm going to add into the JSON string the data, create a data structure. We're going to name it Triv. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And we're going to paste in what I copied, which was that JSON response. Press save, save, and save. Oh wait, let's save that and save anyway. So we can now run it anyway. I'm going to redo this exact terminal, and this time we're going to get back nicely formatted JSON. So if we look, now we can actually access things separately. So chunks, chunk 1, and then we can go into chunk, and then chunk HTML, and under chunk HTML is where all the content is. Now, because there's going to be multiple chunks, and in a real thing where there's, you know, you're going to be getting back 10 chunks, maybe 15 chunks, depending on your search kind of settings, you're going to want to gather all those chunks together into one piece of text and then send that back to the AI rather than only sending one chunk. So the next thing we need to do is iterate over those multiple chunks. So we'll do an iterator, chuck in the chunks array, press save, and then we need to aggregate the text. So we can do a text aggregator. Source module will be the iterator, text will be the chunk HTML, because that's where the text is. Then we can press save. Then the next thing I'm actually going to do, we'll just do a webhook response for now. So we can do a webhook response, add that text thing, press save, run, and query it. And we've already gotten our response. And if we look at the body, we have the entire 2 chunks, because one chunk was, I'll kind of show you that it's definitely working. So one chunk was chunk HTML. So right here, we finish at right before metadata. So it would finish at like, and then the next chunk is right here. So you can see chunk HTML, and the next one would finish at info@manbao.co.uk to discuss your requirements. And if we look at our response in the text, you can see we have info@manbao, but we also have, I can send you the wine list to your phone number if you'd like. So we know it is correctly aggregating the text. Now, something I want to do before we send this webhook response back is actually pass this through a GPT step. This doesn't necessarily have to be OpenAI. You can use Google, you can use whatever API, LLM API you want to use. I need to create a connection. I didn't even realize. So I created my connection. Let's not save it. And now what we want to do is basically, because that was quite a lot of text, I don't really want to just send that pure text over to our retail agent. I want an LLM to give me the exact answer we're looking for. So currently, what is your cancellation policy brought me that entire piece of text. So let me just save that for now and look at the text. So yeah, currently this is what the AI would get back. Quite a big piece of information, and a lot of it is irrelevant. Like, what are Manbao's opening hours? Because we have quite big chunks, which is normal. But first, yeah, I want an AI to basically give me the exact answer. So I'm going to add a system prompt. Your role is to answer a question / query based on the context get from a vector store. Very simple. I'm going to do context and then add this context, because this is what we're getting from the agent, or from the knowledge base, user, and then we'll do one.query. So we can just do this right here. Press save, run that, and then change the result or the webhook response to be the OpenAI result. We're going to use 4row because it's pretty cheap and it's the best, right? So let's, for ease of use, use 4-0. Now, if I run it, we're going to get a response back. So instead of what is the cancellation policy and getting back this entire piece of document, instead, what we get is Manbao requires 24 hours notice for cancellations, late cancellations, or no-shows may incur a charge. Amazing. That's giving us the exact answer we want, which is perfect. That means our knowledge base is really kind of now, what's the word, specialized, not specialized. Now our knowledge base is really focused, so the answer and the context we're going to give back to our AI is going to be exactly what we want to give it. So those are our 3 tools. That was done in what, like 25 minutes so far, or maybe 30 minutes so far. And now what we can get to going, or now what we can get to doing, is the prompt. So I'm going to go into retail and create a new scenario or agent for this Manbao restaurant. So I just selected a single prompt agent. I'm going to rename this to Manbao restaurant agent, and let's work on the prompt. So I know the first thing we're going to want is a role. So we'll start off by doing a role. And obviously I'm going to be doing this all from scratch, so bear with me with my kind of prompting. The prompting is going to be like iteration. I have said this many times in my videos. The way I prompt is by just trying things, iterating based on what we get, and I'm going to test it in the LLM feature. And then based on that, improve the prompt. So you are an inbound receptionist for Manbao, and a London-based restaurant that serves a Malaysian cuisine. Have I spelled that all correctly? Your job is to questions, they're Manbao related questions, and help book, cancel, or reschedule reservations. Done. And let's just do, and overall help customers calling you as well as you can. Okay, so that's the role roughly. That looks good enough for me for now. Next thing I'm going to do is add context. Now, this is something I actually add to every single one of my agent builds. So yeah, you can just copy exactly what I use in some of my production builds. And what I do is add this context, because basically what it says is you are on a phone call, and therefore the user's inputs are coming from what they have said and transcribed into text. And what your output will be spoken. What you output will be spoken using a text-to-speech model, so output in ways like they are spoken, i.e. 8 a.m. instead of 8:00 a.m. And in order to be natural and authentic, add in your output where moments of thought might occur naturally. So that just helps the agent understand the context that it is like dealing in or like working in. And I think it just helps, you know, these more intelligent models like 4.0 to understand, you know, if something is transcribed a bit weird, to not just like bug out and go crazy, to just like understand that this could be a thing because it's coming from a transcription model. And, you know, these agents are clever enough to understand that this is okay. And, you know, it needs to know the kind of system and process it is in. So I like adding that to my prompt. The next thing I'm going to do is just ask how you can help. Or actually first the task would be introduce yourself. Ask how you can help. Either answer their question by searching the knowledge base, or let's just do it by querying the knowledge base, because we are using that language in the tool call. So let's change that there. Or if they need help with reservation stuff, do that. Pretty simple, that's the task. Next, what I'll do is I will add reservation process. So it needs to know like how to do the reservation process. So I'm going to say get their name, get the table size they need, we'll do /party size, and then I'll put in brackets how many people is this for, because this is kind of like how the agent should say it, like in a more natural and conversational style. Get their name, get their table size, get their phone number, and get their email. Oh wait, sorry, get their name, get the date and time of they want to reserve, get the date and time for the reservation, or get the date and time, yeah, let's do it for the reservation. and get the table size they need, get their phone number, and then lastly get their email. And then once confirmed, use book reservation. Okay, save. Now there's a few things I already can tell I need to improve. So get their phone number. Once they've told you, recite the number back to them, i.e. 7, 6, 4, etc. Only move on once they've confirmed you have it correct. We'll grab this exact thing and we'll just have this pasted into the email section. Once they've told you, recite the email back to them. And then for this, it's going to be a little bit different. We'll do like this, HUGO at, we'll do at like that, gmail.com. Because this is the reason why I'm adding this example is because I already know like these text-to-speech models might say, like if I just got it to output Hugo at gmail.com like that, it's gonna say it weirdly. I can already tell. So if I were to actually go into 11 Labs, I will test this, but I believe it's just gonna say it weird. So let's try that. I mean, maybe not, but let's just try it. Yeah, okay, so actually it says it fine. However, I want it to be like HUGO at gmail.com to like spell out the letters. Only move on once they have confirmed you have it correct. Okay, once confirmed, use book reservation. Done. That is it for the reservation process. I want to add a cancellation process, which is going to be pretty simple. May as well get their name, even though we don't need it. We'll get their name just to be certain. Well, just to be kind of conversational. Get their name, get the date and time of the reservation. Get the phone number they used for the reservation. And once again, recite. Actually, I don't even think I need to add that into the cancellation process because I think the agent will know. Once confirmed by the customer, once the phone number is confirmed by the customer, you can use cancel _ reservation. That's it for the reservation process. Next, we have the reschedule process. This is a little bit more complicated. What we want to do is first, I don't know why this is so annoying. Okay, reschedule process, get their name, get the date and time of the reservation that they want to reschedule. Let them know this is like, okay, whatever. I think the AI will understand. So we're just making sure that the AI understands that, you know, we're getting the date and time of the reservation that they want to reschedule. Get their phone number. Once let's just do this again because it's going to be the exact same. Once the phone number is confirmed by the customer, you can use cancel reservation. Don't tell them you've cancelled the reservation. If it was successfully cancelled, let them know you have found the reservation and ask them what date and ask them what date and time they want to change it to. Ask for party size. Let's just get the table size they need / party size. How many people is this for? Get their email. Get their phone number. Okay. So then once confirmed, use book reservation. Book _ reservation. And let them know you have rescheduled. Okay, so now there's going to be some notes that I'm going to add to it because I already know there's a few things that, you know, AI just commonly do. So I'm going to let it know I want you to be conversational. Please keep responses below 2 to 3 sentences, ideally. And we can add some, God, this is really annoying with retail. I can't see the bottom because of the big save button. Okay, so then I'm going to say, if they ask any context-specific questions about Manbao and they aren't answered explicitly in your instructions, use knowledge base to query our vector store. If you have queried, then the KB, I can probably just make it shorter. If you have queried the KB and there is no, and the answer isn't really what the question is looking for, let them know. Unfortunately, you let them know you don't have the answer. However, you can email info@manbao.co.uk however, you can email info@manbao.co.uk for assistance. Let's just improve writing. This is something I do quite often just because it's quick, and quite often I make spelling mistakes and stuff like that and it just gets rid of them. Okay, so that looks to me pretty good so far. We've got the role, we got the context, we got the task, we got the reservation process, we got the cancellation, reschedule, and notes. Now what we need to do is add the functions. We're going to test the LLM in a second, but first let's add the functions. So let's go into our scenarios, grab all the webhook URLs. So that's the first one, custom function, and make the name, well, let me chuck in that first, book_reservation. Enter the description of the custom function. This books a reservation for Manbao. Simple. Parameters, what we want to do is grab an example. Let's just grab that, chuck that into AI. Give me a JSON like this, but with date, phone number, phone_number, party_size, name, and email. All required. Yeah, okay, so it's already done that correctly. Let me just grab this. Yes. Date and time of the booking. No, change booking to reservation. Let's use the same. It's good to use the same words, as it just keeps everything. The agent can understand things a bit easier, like we're not kind of using new terminology that we've not been using. Speak during execution. Okay, give me one moment to check availability. Save that. Okay, so now we have book reservation. Next is cancel reservation. Let's grab that. Cancel reservation. Yep, copy that address. Chuck that into retail. Custom function. Wrong thing. Use this to cancel a reservation or for rescheduling. For the AI, now just give me phone number and date, because now this is all we need. For the cancel, we can do that. We can format. We don't need to speak during execution, I don't think. Oh, actually, let's just add that just for why not? Give me a second to find it. Let's just do. Give me a second to pull up your reservation. Update. Invalid JSON schema. If that ever happens to you guys, just press format JSON. Even if nothing changes, it will work. And lastly, but not least, the knowledge _base. Go into make.com and grab the URL for that. And let's copy that. Go into retail. Take that. For the knowledge base, all we need is query. So now just actually we could just do example one, because I know that is a single one. Query the query for the vector store / knowledge base. Done. Required query. We don't need to format. I mean, we don't need to speak during execution because this should be quick. Okay, all the tools are done. Few things I'm going to need to change is go into the all the tools and basically change the format of this, because now it's going to be one.args, which is arguments, which is what retail has it in, and then query. So we can grab that. I'm just going to do this off camera because it's just boring for you guys. Okay, so all the make.com scenarios have been changed to one.args.etc. because obviously that's how retail has it formatted. So now I can press on, delete old data, because we haven't got anything important in there. Turn them all on, delete old data for all of it. Press delete. Let's close all of my tabs just so I'm focused on what we need to accomplish. Okay, cool. So let's add actually something else, which is AI begins with your defined message. I want, thank you for calling Mambao. How can I help you today? Cool. Now that's going to be saved. We're going to change the voice. Actually, give me a second whilst I look through 11 Labs for a nice voice. Okay, so I found a voice. I literally just put in English, Malay, and we have this one. It sounds quite nice. I like it. So just remember the name, Eva Kintsugi. Go to retail, add custom voice, search by name. So Eva Kintsugi, there we go. Kintsugi, press that, save, and we'll use that voice for this agent. Let's try it out. Cool, so we're using Eva. I'm going to change this to Flash just because of the speed. I like increasing the voice speed to like 14, lowering the voice temperature a bit. I always do that. And I lower the voice volume a little bit. It just makes the AI sound a little bit better just because it's not so loud and into my ears. And then when it's so crisp, it just sounds off. So now what we could do is test it via the custom or test LLM section. Actually, something I know I'm going to have to add, which is something I've missed, which is adding the context of the current date and time. Because this is going to be needed, because if someone says, can I book something for Thursday? Today is the 18th of February. It's going to know 20th of February, right? And so that's why we need to give it the current date and time. And for that, retail just gives you a built-in variable, which you can do under current time. So let's just do send, because this will give us our first dynamic, our first predefined message. Thank you for calling Mobile. How can I help you? Hi there. I was looking to book a reservation. Of course, can I start by getting your name, please? Already I can tell this is amazing because it's got ums, it's going to sound natural, and it sounds nice and concise and conversational. Yeah, it's Hugo. Thanks, Hugo. What date and time would you like to book the reservation for? I would like tomorrow at 6 p.m. Got it, tomorrow at 6 p.m. And how many people would this be for? It's for 4. All right, a table for 4. Could you please provide me with your phone number? I'll repeat it back to make sure I have it correct. Yes, it's 07856569595. Thank you. Let me repeat that back to you. 07856569595. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Then it's going to ask for my email now. Perfect. Now could you share your email address? I'll repeat it back to you to confirm as well. Yes, it's HugoPod@gmail.com. Thank you. Let me confirm that. HugoPod@gmail.com. Is that correct? Yes. So now it's going to be calling the function call. Give me one moment to check availability. Book reservation. It inputs all of that. Tour result, and the tour result the table has for 4 has been successfully booked for. Currently is saying 2023. That can't be right. So something is wrong in this current time. Let me see. Retail variables. So let's do dynamic variables. So there's some issue in that current time because it would never say 2023 unless it was getting the wrong current time. And I just know that that is the issue somewhere. So let's add current time. Let's also save this because maybe it didn't. Let's just ignore it for now. Let's see if it's in. Yes, it's in. So 21/2/11/2023. It's obviously the wrong date completely, but we have everything confirmed. My number is there. HugoPod@gmail.com is in there, and we are good to go. Okay, so table has been booked successfully. Yeah, cool. One thing I want to add is when confirming the email, if the domain is something like is a popular domain such as Gmail, Outlook, or Outlook, Hotmail, etc., you don't need to recite it letter by letter. So let's, now that we've saved it, let's try this one more time. Let's press send. And this time, hopefully the current time is being inputted correctly, because currently I know that's the issue. Okay, there we go. 2025-02. Yeah, still not. Oh, no, that's correct because it's the month. Okay, there we go. So the current time for some reason wasn't being inputted. I think that's probably because I didn't save. So now we have it all correct. Date, name, phone number, email, and the tool result comes back. And let's check this. Let's reload. Okay, so for some reason it hasn't been inputted. Why is that? It says success. So for some reason I started off at 5, which is very odd. So that's no idea why that's happened. So let's see why that is. I think it's probably something to do with the increment function, the way that we reset it. So let's reset a value after one scenario run. So that's the issue. We want it to reset after one scenario run. So let's press save and save the changes. There we go. So this is how things quite often go. You know, issues happen and you just got to fix them. So now we would all be good. So let's delete this reservation, go back into retail, go back, just delete these few things, press send, and now see whether it is all going to be good. Let's open this. There we go. So as you can see, 19th, which is tomorrow. That's because I asked for tomorrow at 6 p.m. Party size of 4 and table number 1, which we know is a table that can seat 4 because you can see right there, capacity, 1. Yeah, cool. That is all looking good. Okay, and I was also wondering, what's the cancellation policy? So we know that's going to be giving us an answer based on the knowledge base. So it is querying the knowledge base right now. Our cancellation policy requires at least 24 hours notice. Late cancellations or no-shows may incur a charge. Let me know if you need help with anything else. Perfect. So we know the LLM is working well. We know the prompt is working well. We know all the tools are working. So now the last thing to do is to add to this phone number right here, Manbao, this Manbao phone number, the inbound call agent to be Manbao. So I just select Manbao restaurant agent, but for some reason it's got some errors. So I'm going to do this within the API itself. So I'll do update phone number in retail. We'll grab first the agent ID. The agent ID up here. Go into update phone number, try it. The inbound agent ID right there, the outbound agent ID right there, and then the phone number was this. Now we can press send, all updated, and now if I call this number, we should get back and we should get a call with our Mambao restaurant agent.
Thank you for calling Mambo. How can I help you today?
Hi there. I was looking to cancel a reservation I have.
Of course. Can I get your name, please?
Yes, my name is Hugo.
Thank you, Hugo. Could you let me know the date and time of your reservation?
Yes, it is. The reservation was for tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Got it. And could you please provide the phone number you used to make the reservation? I'll confirm it with you.
Yes, it's 07856 569595.
Thank you. Just to confirm, that's 07856569595. Is that data passed? Is that correct?
Yes, that's all correct.
Give me a second to pull up your reservation. It seems like there was an issue on my end while trying to cancel your reservation. I recommend reaching out to us via email at info@mambo.co.uk for further assistance. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience.
Yeah, no worries. Wait, 1 second.
Sure, take your time. You're welcome. If you need anything else, feel free to call back. Have a great day.
Wait. Can you try it one more time, please?
Of course, let me try that again for you. Hugo, one moment, please. All right, Hugo, your reservation for tomorrow at 6 p.m. has been successfully canceled. Let me know if there's anything else I can assist you with.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Let me just give me a second. I want to pull up a question I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask, what's the maximum group size you can accommodate?
We can accommodate groups of up to 8 people. People, if your group is larger than that, you can contact us directly to discuss options. Let me know if you need
Perfect.
anything else.
No, that's it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Have a great day and feel free to call us anytime. Take care.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye. Perfect. So I would say that is successful. I think the voice was quite good actually. There are a few hallucinations I could tell because it's quite a niche voice. It only had like 300 uses. So obviously there's going to be some words that 11 Labs, the person behind the voice didn't do, and therefore 11 Labs kind of is worse at generating them. But that sound actually really good to me. I really like having the volume lower, the speed a little bit higher, temperature a little bit lower. I just think it just makes the voice sound really human. And yeah, I really like that actually. I think the Malaysian accent kind of helps to hide the AI side of it. So yeah, I quite like that. And yeah, it sounded good. It cancelled my reservation. Yes, I saw that was an issue within the make.com scenario itself. And for some reason, the phone number argument, I might have misspelt that. So I fixed that, asked her to do it again. Obviously, I know she's going to be able to do it again this time because I changed it. But yeah, it cancelled the reservation, and that felt pretty natural, pretty conversational. And we know that all these system requirements have been checked off because I've created the tools for it, I've prompted it correctly, and I know that this would all work. So yeah, I would say that was a pretty successful build from scratch. We built all those tools, we built all the logic within the tools, and then we added and tied those tools together with the prompt, added the voice, which really sounded good, deployed it to a phone number. I didn't show you deploying of the phone number. I already had a phone number in my retail account. So for that, there's going to be a link in the description to a video by retail on how to connect Twilio numbers to retail. All I did was add that inbound agent as the inbound phone number. We gave it a call just on my phone and we got a response back and a really good conversation. It cancelled my reservation that we created in that little testing LLM side of things. And yeah, I would say that was a successful building from scratch. There was a few issues here and there, like the increment function wasn't resetting, a few things that, are obviously going to happen when building. I obviously have planned for this video pretty well, so I was pretty prepared for what I'm going to build. But in reality, there's going to be more issues, more errors. But yeah, this was a very good, in my opinion, showcase of how to build these agents from scratch. So thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, I must say you're a tank. and you clearly want to do well in voice AI development. So email me and maybe we can work together, or we'll see where the future lies for the both of us. But yeah, thank you for watching, and hopefully that was useful for one of you or some of you out there.